Welcome to this demonstration on how to run an STP Transaction Report in AdviceOS. STP Transaction Reports are used by financial planners to identify the progress of their SOA transactions. Additionally, they are run daily by the Client Services team to follow up on failed transactions. This ensures quick processing of exceptions. In this demonstration, we will cover how to generate STP transaction reports, and identify and fix failed transactions. Fixing failed transactions is important as they may prevent straight-through processing from executing correctly. From the AdviceOS homepage, click on the Quick Reports menu and then click on Transactions. The Transactions page displays. This page shows you all client transactions that are currently being processed. You can sort transaction by filters such as advisor name, office location, and transaction status. Sorting transactions will make it easier to identify transactions for your particular regional office, by financial planner, or client services officer. Use the horizontal scroll bar to view additional columns. You can create a report by grouping multiple filters. For example, you can group the status and office name filters to view the status of all transactions for a specific office location. In this example, we will create a report to view the status of transactions by office location, advisor name, and status. To add a filter, left-click and drag the filter from the column header to the Grouped By section. The transactions on the page automatically sort as you add filters to the Grouped By section. Left-click and drag a filter to adjust how the filters are grouped. Remove a filter from the group by hovering over the filter and clicking on the X that displays. We will now show you how to fix a failed transaction. Refer to the status column to identify the transaction status. You may need to expand the filters in order to find the transactions. Click on a transaction line item with a failed status, then click Manage Transaction. The Manage SOA Transaction page displays the transactions associated with products entered in Total Portfolio Analysis by the financial planner. It is important to note that only transactions associated with straight-through processing are shown. The Order column displays the sequence of transactions. Transactions will be processed in the order displayed. However, in this example, there is only one transaction. If there are multiple transactions, use the Status column to identify which transaction failed. The transaction description provides an explanation as to why the transaction failed. In this example, the transaction failed because the date of payment was entered incorrectly. Click on the Edit button next to the failed transaction to review and fix the transaction. The Lodgement Field page displays. If the failed transaction is preventing the processing of other transactions in the sequence, you can choose to skip, pause, or retry the failed transaction. Note, if you choose to skip a transaction, you must manually enter the transaction in the Advisor portal. This may affect subsequent transactions. Update the details as required to resolve the error. Depending on the error, you may need to call the client to get further information to resolve the issue. Once you've resolved the issue, click OK. If there are multiple transactions, review them for correctness and then click Retry Failed Transactions to send them to Registry for processing. The transaction has now been sent back to Registry for processing. This brings us to the end of the demonstration. If you require additional information, refer to the Run STP Transaction Reports job aid for further guidance.